The Brothers Karamazov is an 1880 novel by the Russian author Fyodor Dostoevsky. It emerged from several years of reflection on such issues as free will, sin, social responsibility, and family ties, but its immediate cause was probably the death of Dostoevsky's 3-year-old son Alyosha in 1878. The novel's hero is called Alyosha, and it's likely that Dostoevsky created a fictional version of the kind of man he'd have liked his son to become. Dostoevsky himself died 4 months after the novel's publication, at the age of just 59. The plot revolves around 3 very different brothers, Dmitri, Ivan, and Alyosha, and their inadequate father, Fyodor. Fyodor has never really cared for his children. Dmitri, the eldest, resembles him, but also deeply resents him, partly for withholding his inheritance, but also because they're both in love with the same 22-year-old woman, a highly independent character called Grushenka. Fyodor's second son, Ivan, is widely regarded as one of the most philosophically interesting characters in the whole of Western literature. He was a significant influence on Albert Camus's 1951 The Rebel, for example. He's an intellectual, strongly influenced by the rationalist, skeptical ideas emanating from Western Europe at the time. But he's also, partly because of the direction of his thinking, tormented. He recognizes the value of Christianity, but he can't solve the philosophical problem of evil, and that failure gradually tears him apart. The youngest son, Alyosha, is just 20 and a novice in a Russian Orthodox monastery. His spiritual mentor, Father Zosima, sends him out into the world to learn how compassion works in practice. He becomes enmeshed in several practical dilemmas, but retains his mystical purity. It's likely that Dostoevsky saw him as a foil to Ivan's arid intellectualism. The main action of the book revolves around a murder and a man wrongfully accused of it, but its literary reputation derives also from its treatment of 2 perennial topics: the moral viability of Christianity and the value of freedom. All 3 brothers play a part in examining those topics, but Ivan brings them into sharpest focus. Both issues find their most complete expression in Part 5 of Book 5, entitled The Grand Inquisitor, where Ivan describes to his brother Alyosha the gist of a poem he's written, set in 16th century Spain at the time of the most dreadful Inquisition. Jesus Christ himself appears in the streets. He's universally recognized, and he raises a child from the dead. Then the Cardinal Grand Inquisitor appears and has him arrested. 1500 years ago, the Cardinal explains, Jesus brought humankind freedom, but humankind couldn't deal with it. It involved taking responsibility for one's own actions, and that was more than most people could bear. The Church has spent the entire time since in subtly removing their freedom, whilst persuading them it's still there. As a result, they're happy. And now Jesus threatens to sabotage that. How dare he? It's a powerful story, and the issues it raises go far beyond the theological. If its moral is correct, if we really don't want freedom, can the story be used to justify despotism? Jean-Paul Sartre and the existentialists built an entire philosophy on the supposedly repellent aspects of freedom in a godless world, and the way in which it can make political authoritarianism look attractive has been explored by many thinkers, most notably perhaps Erich Fromm, in his 1941 The Fear of Freedom. In some ways, the philosophical sections of the Brothers Karamazov have been too successful. Would-be readers sometimes think that's all it is. In fact, it's a dramatic masterpiece, perhaps as good as Crime and Punishment, and probably better than Demons. But of course, as always, don't take my word for it.